My name is Amy Tollyfield. I'm a published author and performance poet based in the UK. I would like to go into English literature lecturing or teaching at university level or college level, so further education. I also have a master's degree in Shakespeare Studies from the University of Birmingham, awarded in 2014 with merit status. I anticipate my learners being thus between the ages of about 18 and 21 typically. However, it might be that they're 16 to 21. I'm not really just sure just yet. The exemplary aspect of my own teaching practice that I'd like to discuss today is group work. I have implemented group work in practice with English Literature A-level students, which was analysing a short poem. The small group work allowed for greater dissemination of ideas, greater learning through discussion. Learners felt more relaxed because in discussion with their own peers rather than with the teacher, but still keen to impress the teacher, so still keen to come up with great ideas. I don't feel that group work is necessarily appropriate in every setting, and certainly not in terms of assessment for the learner's ability in every instance. As a published author myself, I hugely value individual thought and individual writing. The benefit of group work, however, in a lot of settings, is to discuss ideas and to develop ideas, thus developing individual thought. It's clear through group work how these elements of the taxonomy are accessed. Applying the learning, applying it with peers, applying it in a group setting, analysing the learning, synthesis, so discussion, evaluating and creating. When I was a university student myself, drama and theatre practice Hull, years and years ago now, it was important to create through group work, and therefore we're accessing the very top of Bloom's taxonomy 1956. Ertmer and Newby 2013 and also Illeris 2018 talk about Constructivism, and the notion of Constructivism is that each learner comes with their own prior knowledge, their own prior schemas of knowledge, and they have their own insight, they have their own realities of the world, their own perception of what they feel the world is, and therefore if you have a group setting you can really feel how you can actually have multiple ideas of what the world is and what learning is from different sources, and thus you're blending your knowledge and you're creating new knowledge, new learning through each perception, each person's perception in that group setting. So from a constructivist learner perspective, I would say group work definitely taps into that element of learning, constructivism. Biggs and Tang 2011 state, conceptual change takes place when students work collaboratively and in dialogue with others, both peers and teachers. Good dialogue elicits those activities that shape, elaborate and deepen understanding. Biggs and Tang 2011, page 23. Conceptual change, actually the change of the learner, transformative learning. Because you're applying the concept to actual practice to ensure learning is actually achieved. This is far more prevalent in group work. I'd like to refer to the YouTube videos by Fyfield at Monash University. His videos on cognitive load theory, particularly the fourth video, how to test learning. He mentions recall and transfer, and recall is just the ability to bring back bits of information, so elements of information, so memorization, rote learning, just ways of just bringing back things that you've learned. Transfer is how well can you actually transfer that knowledge to a different kind of grid, if you like. So if you learn about the food chain, can you then talk about the food chain with different animals? It's the way you transfer learning to show that you've learned the concept, not just the key facts, but the actual concept of the learning. Can you relate it to something else that's slightly different? And I think through group work you really get the transfer, because how have you individually learned? Therefore, how do you then transfer that into a group setting? Are you able to then take that knowledge and pass it into a group setting? Can you transfer it, thus showing conceptual learning? Working in groups is more relevant to real-world situations such as employment, prepares a student for life after university. Maringe and Singh, 2014, page 765, they make it clear that for the employers, quality HE is that which produces graduates suited to the need of the employment market. Such graduates are defined as having multiple literacies, including group learning skills, ability to work as individuals and as part of diverse groups. Really important that students can work with others. Group work will help that. I remember when I studied as an undergrad and we were creating new pieces of theatre, it was very easy to clash, and then the learning and the development of whatever we were creating was massively set back sometimes, for sometimes days. We were left to our own devices. If we fell out, that could really impact the quality of the finished result. Are your stronger learners suffering because they're having to accommodate weaker learners who perhaps aren't picking up the material as well? A final note I'd just like to make about group work, when I helped to implement group work in the sixth form of a school recently, as I say, in English literature classes, some of the ideas that were coming out there were really, really fantastic, really developed. And again, that was through the students discussing things with their peers, analysing a poem and discussing that in great detail with their peers, and through that discussion, coming out with some fantastic ideas.